So if you saw my previous video announcing my GoFundMe and trying to get to Canada, you'll also remember that I was saying how I was going to set up an auction for a bunch of things that I've used in my videos over the years or are part of my video identity. So this is my video announcing all the things that are going to go up for auction. They're going to be put up on eBay as listings, but this video will have individual links to each and every one of them. So let me show you all the little bits and pieces of my life that you can potentially have that I'm not going to be able to take with me to Canada, but may help me get there. So the first thing we're going for is something quite special. My old headphones. So I am HeadphonesUK, so these are my old headphones. So these do actually still work, for the record. I've got a new pair since that are just a little bit more newer and a little bit, well, less worn. As you can see, they're a little bit tatty. All of the pleather has come off on the padding, but the padding's still nice and soft and they do still work. And they also do come with a charging cable and an aux cable, so you can plug this in here and then plug it into an aux headphone jack into a computer or anything else, so you can use it like a regular pair of headphones. But they are Bluetooth, so they can connect to your phone and other devices wirelessly. So I was using these, I think, as far back as the second Unintentionally Scary video, and I was using them in the videos as my prop around my neck up until around about 2 years ago when I got my new set. But these definitely have been used by me many times, and they do also have stickers on them, little HeadphonesUK stickers, which have faded a little bit because they've been out in the sun so much. But yeah, these are a significant part of HeadphonesUK history, and it's something you could own, so that's something you can get on eBay. Next up is my old hat. So I've got lots of different kinds of flat caps, but this is the second oldest one that I've been using. My oldest one is a little bit too worn to really be sold off, so I couldn't really do that. But this is my second oldest. I've used this in a few videos over the years, most significantly like the travel vlog ones I did, particularly the drone ones. So yeah, this is something I used to wear a lot. I've got a new hat now that I wear more often, but obviously I can't take all of my hats with me, especially since in Canada there's only really 2 hats I need. Baseball hat for the hot weather, and the most comforting and snuggling thing I can have when it gets really cold. So this I'll probably only get to wear for maybe 1 or 2 weeks out of the year, so might as well get rid of it. It's quite big, for the record, because I do have a big head, but if you can always take it in a little bit, and it is also a bit of a tight fit on my head anyway, so it'll probably fit a person with an average size head fine. But yeah, that's going up for auction as well. Next up we have a big one, quite literally. My guitar. I love this guitar. It's an amazing guitar. It's bass, for the record, so it does bass noises. This I have used in a few videos, most significantly the End of the Tommy review, where I did a cover of Pinball Wizard. So if you're curious, that is actually me playing the song. I'm not just syncing up to an actual tune I found online. But as you can imagine, this is a bit too big and unwieldy to transport over to Canada, especially since I'm already taking all of my media equipment and my Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5 with me. And if I'm being honest, I don't really use this much anymore. I still love it, but sometimes you have to make the tough decisions when you're making a big move. So I'm putting this up for auction. It does still work, and I'll also provide with it, I'll just get this, the mini amp. So this is an amp. It's not particularly powerful, but it does work. And it also has an overdrive setting if you do. Apologies for the static, it's because it's too close to the guitar. But yeah, I will be giving that. It's a perfectly working guitar. It's in good condition. I've kept very good care of it. But because of its size, I'm probably not going to be able to transport it via the mail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to limit this to be sold only in the UK, and whoever buys it, I'll come and deliver it to them myself. So I'll have to take into the account the amount of fuel for the journey in the auction price as well. But this is a really cool guitar, and it is definitely something that my fingers have licked myself. So yeah, something you can potentially have in your collection. Next up are a pair of paintings I've done myself. So these aren't necessarily stuff that's related to HeadphonesUK, but they are things I've shared in the past, and these are things I've painted myself. So This is a painting. It's meant to be a surrealist acrylic watercolor. It's called Riding the Waves of Sanity, as I just show you there because there's a bit of glare coming off from the window. This is just something I did when I was having a therapy session, I think last year, and I was trying to think of a good analogy of what it's like trying to be within my own head and keep myself balanced and sane. And the analogy I came up with is that it's like trying to be in a boat on a seamlessly endless piece of water, trying to keep myself going forward, but also keeping myself balanced at the same time. So the idea is, for the record, yes, that is the car boat from Top Gear. For some reason I did it as that. That's a brain. It's multicolored to make it look psychedelic, but a lot of people thought it was a paddling pool, but no, it's a brain with a tree for a brain stem. And in here, the idea is that this is what the inside of my brain is like. So it's a very significant part of my psychology, and it is something I painted myself, as is this one, something a little bit more grounded and down to earth. I call this one Sunset in the Valleys. So this was something I did when it was inspired by, I saw a really lovely sunset out of my bedroom window one night, and I thought it would make for a really good painting. So I recreated it as best as I could, added some trees, and then I wanted to add something that seemed a little bit more me, so I put in the Welsh dragon. I'm not Welsh for the record, but I just love the design of the Welsh dragon. So yeah, that's a cool little thing. There's also something significant I should say about this, is that with the branches for the trees, I used an old technique that I used to do, which is called paint blowing. So you put a blob of paint on the canvas, and then you take a straw and you go and you blow it, and it creates these really kind of spider webby branch effects. It's really cool. But because I was using a very dirty straw, I kept having to spit the dirt out, and I was spitting it into the water I was using for the watercolors, which I then used to continue painting. So this actually has my spit in it. So that might be significant or it might be disgusting, but either way I should let you know. Also, I should say that all of these items that are going on sale, they can be signed if you want them to be. So put them in the notes of the auction. If you win, can you please sign it? And if you want me to sign something specific, I can do that too. But I should also point out that both these paintings do already have my signature on them, as well as the date in which I finished them. But I can also sign them on the back of the frame if you want me to. So that's another thing that's up for sale. Next up is something that's a little bit more practical, so it's something that would be very useful for you to use, but it is a significant part of me, is two HDD hard drives. They're Seagate, for the record. They're each 1 terabyte that I've used for editing videos over the years. So these I've kept footage on that I use in videos. Not footage of me, but the B-roll footage of the movies and the TV shows. So this one's called the DF drive. You can't quite see it, but DF drive. Yeah, that means that this one had films on it. And this one is called the DT drive, which means that it had television shows on it. And if you can also see it as property of George Overington on it. So that's proof that it used to belong to me. They will be wiped, for the record, so I do apologise, but if I gave these away with actual footage on them, then that could be considered piracy. So I'm going to have to wipe these, but they are still really good hard drives. Like I said, they're 1 terabyte each. They're exFAT operating system, which is one of the best kind of ones you can have for a hard drive. And they'll be really useful if you want them for editing or any other kind of digital purposes. So another thing going on sale. Up next are some of the cheaper items. Well, one of the cheaper items, but it's also going to be a lot easier to transport. So I've still got a bunch of posters left for my big show that's coming up in May. So, and also for the record, there's still plenty of tickets available for that if you want to come and see it. So I do recommend you get some tickets for that if you can, or you can check it out on the YouTube channel when I live stream it. But I've still got a bunch of these left, and I've put up as many as I think I can at the moment. I'll probably put up a few more just outside just a train station just before the show to just promote it a bit more. But I'm going to sell 5 of these, and I can then send them off to you. And they are, I believe, A3 size, and they're a really nice kind of glossy print paper sort of thing. So that's something you can have up on your bedroom wall. So that would be lovely. And finally, we're going to the 2 big ones. These are the kind of the cream of the crop in terms of what I've got to offer. So next, definitely probably one of the bigger items besides the guitar. So this may look like a box full of old VHS tapes, and it is, but these are actually the original VHS tapes I used to record Dick and Dom and the Bungalow all those years ago when I watched it as a kid. So when I was a kid, because I knew that they would never be repeated, I would actually record them myself. I was never able to do all of them because my VHS machine was very temperamental, so sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But there's a bunch of episodes on these tapes, and I sent all of these tapes off to DD in the Bungalow, that YouTube channel, to put on his channel. So these tapes are a huge part of the Dick and Dom and the Bungalow preservation action and part of the Dick and Dom community. So this is definitely a huge thing to have if you're a big Dick and Dom fan. I should also point out that when they were sent back to me from DD to Bungalow, something went wrong with the transit and about half of them got damaged beyond use, so there's significantly a lot less than there used to be. But there are still quite a lot here, including the tape that has the last episode of Dick and Dom on it. So hang on. Yeah, there you go. Last Dick and Dom. So there's a lot of history in these. I should point out that each of these tapes has about 2 episodes per tape on it. So, that's also a thing. So you probably need a VHS that has Superplay, because these were made with Superplay, which allowed for double the amount of data to be recorded on a tape. If you use it without Superplay, it'll make it seem like it's being played in fast motion. So just be aware of that. But you can also just have them for the significance of being both my tapes that helped bring Dick and Dom back to a wider audience again, and just the fact that they are pieces of history, as part of Dick and Dom history. So that's a big thing there. But we'll move on to the biggest item of all, and also probably the easiest to send besides the posters. And I'm looking forward to seeing the kind of bidding wars that are going to happen when this goes up for auction. The original Huck plush. So this is the Huck plush I used all the way back in 2017, I believe it was, for the Where is Huck competition, which was the first time we actually mentioned his Huck character name verbally in a video, and it's been used in the background of several videos since then. So this is the first thing we ever used as a visual representation of Huck in the videos. So this is something I bought from Amazon years and years and years ago. It's part of the Living Nature plush series, but this is something that's been used multiple times as a representation of Huck. It's a little bit dusty because it's been on my shelf for years, but I'll give it a wipe down and a quick dusting before I send it out to auction. But yes, so this is the ultimate item. This is the one thing I'm going to imagine is definitely going to have the most amount of bids on it. So looking forward to that. And as I said, all of these items can be signed if you wish for them to be. Some of them will have to have postage and packaging taken into account. Like I said, the posters and the Huck plush and the headphones, they'll probably be fine because they're quite decently small and they won't need that much packaging around them. But and my hat. And the drives, of course, but the paintings, the tapes, they'll have to have postage and packaging. And like I said, with the guitar, I'm going to have to deliver that myself because it's way too big to send in the mail, and it would be way more than it would be just to take it myself anyway. But yeah, so selling all of these things, they'll be up on eBay, and there's links down below for each and individual one. So yeah. Please go along and just have a look if you want to, and like I said, put bids up for them, and this is definitely going to be a big help to get me to get to Canada. So please, again, help out best as you can. If you don't want to buy any of these but you still want to help, you can also follow the link below to my GoFundMe and just donate there. And yeah, happy bidding, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.